Hello again. This video I'm going to go over some of the most common shotgun gauge sizes. There's a lot fewer options when it comes to shotguns than there is for rifles or pistols, but that doesn't mean you don't have to think it through some. Alright, there's pros and cons depending on the platform you're using, and there's definitely some things to take into consideration. Now, at the bottom right here I have the three most common gauges. This is the 410 load, also considered a caliber, so they have it in several pistols. It's gained popularity and production largely because of pistols like the Taurus Judge or the Smith & Wesson Governor, who will chamber 45 Colt ammunition and 410 shot shells or slug loads or whatever you want to put in them. The Governor, the Smith & Wesson, will also load 45 ACP in moon clips, giving it a lot of variety options in terms of what you want to load in it. This would be a 20 gauge load, going to be very common as a youth shotgun load, or a smaller framed person, or those that just don't like battering their shoulder when they're going hunting for small birds like dove and the like. 20 gauge is still very, very popular for that, and arguably one of the two most common, which are 20 and 12 gauge. 12 gauge is definitely going to be probably the most common shotgun gauge size, which has a lot of factors. It is going to be one of the more powerful shotgun load options. You're going to have a lot more options in ammunition, varieties, and therefore you can kind of get a load that's custom to you. They have low recoil loads and everything like that, and then they typically have a lower cost because they're produced on such a high level. 12 gauge bird loads get to the same cost or less than 9mm pistol rounds. So definitely a cost-effective shell to load up on or stock up on. The only main drawback to shotguns over rifle or pistol is weight. They're going to be heavier. Now this here is a 16 gauge, pretty much a dying breed. Unfortunately, in the line book, I love the 16 gauge, but it isn't as cost effective. It fits right in between here. All right, and the in-between gauges have died off significantly. There's 16 gauge here. There's also a 28 gauge that goes right here between 410 and 20 gauge. And then there's the 10 gauge, which is pretty much almost extinct. I don't know of anyone that's actually manufacturing 10 gauges anymore, or 16 gauge for that matter. 28s are actually still being manufactured. Ithaca has some on the market. Franke has some on the market in 28 gauge. So it's still around. It's kind of that in between that's holding on just because of some hardliners. 16 gauge is still available to get, but I don't know of anyone that's really manufacturing them anymore. And I like it because it's in between. I get almost all the effectiveness of a 12, but it feels a lot more like a 20. But just one of those things, I just happen to like the gauge. But it isn't going to be one of the most common. So if you're really looking at a shotgun option, these are going to be probably one of the three gauges that you'd want to look at. 12 definitely being the high percentage winner and the most common. All right. Any comments or questions? Please let me know.